Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another episode. So, today I want to just talk to you a little bit about overwhelm. Okay, what is overwhelm? What is overwhelm for you? What is overwhelm for me? Now, I'm going to just be completely honest and say this is me. Often I bring you things to the podcast, which is things that I've been working through with my clients, and I kind of get inspiration from there, or I get inspiration from some of the messages that we get with people asking questions through our social media profiles, and also from the podcast and things like that. However, today I'm literally winging it. Normally I prepare my topic and I have some notes that I refer to kind of keep me on track. Whereas today I just want to come to you with regards to me and the feeling of overwhelm that I have had probably for the last couple of weeks and what I've done to kind of bring me back on track. So I thought I would just share my tips. Now, take some of these and try them if you want to see if they work for you. If they don't work for you, or if this is not your type of personality, that's okay. However, I was just feeling, if we kind of go back to potentially a couple of weeks ago, where I'm feeling like Christmas is coming in quick, okay? I've got three kids. They're all three boys actually, and they all go to school. And it's coming to that end of year where school holidays, are coming quick and fast. They're all the end of year celebrations for school. We've got the musical instruments, that they have at school, the end of year carols, the end of year, gifts for teachers, and everything is just kind of feeling like it's, it was getting a little bit like I was getting to the end of the day and there's not enough hours in the day and I felt like I wasn't kind of ticking off the boxes and things like that. And my head, everything was just kind of, oh, what do I need to do? What do I need to do? And this, in all honesty, is something that I train on and I coach on. So it kind of, and it probably didn't go quite 2 weeks now and I've solved it, if that makes sense. So I didn't let it go on and I probably picked it up a little bit quicker than sometimes some of my clients do or some of the people that I talk around me. However, I did pick up on the things where, for me, I know when I'm stuck in kind of like a chaos mode or an overwhelm mode, when I'm at the end of the day and I'm not feeling like I smashed it or I got my jobs done or I did the things that I set out to do. Because I tend to get into this stuck state, and this is me, hands up if this kind of resonates for you. But when I'm stuck in this overwhelm, I'm kind of doing what I think is busy work, whereas I'm working all day, but I'm actually not really accomplishing anything. And for me, that means that I'm dabbling in here, I'm dabbling in there, I'm dabbling in there, and I'm kind of going between everything and I'm task switching from one thing to another, which if you know anything about task switching, in particular for me, I find it is exhausting from an energy consumption point of view, because you're going from one type of a task where you may be required to focus, and then you're switching to another task where maybe you need a creative ability for, and then you're going to something else where you need to get into a deep focus or you need to, you know, and it's not productive. It's not productive in any way, shape or form. So what did I do? So basically I took 2 days off. Okay. 2 days off. Now, what do I mean by that? For 2 days, I didn't do really any work. Okay. So for 2 days, and this, I don't do this every time, but this is what I've just done in this past. I took 2 days off where I sat in the office, for part of the day and I just brain dumped things. Okay. I just literally brain dumped it. Now, what I've done for this time is I opened up a Google Doc and I started brain dumping in no particular order all the jobs that I feel like I need to do. Either ideas that I have for future things. Literally, I just emptied my brain. So things that I need to do, Christmas shopping lists for people that I want to purchase for, events and activities we've got coming up for Christmas. What do I need to do for end of school? What's coming up? What do I need to do for my work life? What do I need to do for my family life? And I literally just kept brain dumping this into a Google Doc. Now, when I said I did this for 2 days, is I also had another little booklet that I just carried around with me. And anytime a little idea popped up for something I want to do next year or something, like any other item that needs to go on my to-do list, and I'm talking micro, even if it was something like, oh, I need to do some food shopping and I need to add this to the list. Do you know? Literally down to the minute. Now, then, then I bring all those lists together and I collate them and prioritize them and bring them down. But first, let me talk about why I do a big brain dump. When I get into that kind of state of overwhelm and kind of confusion and kind of like so much is going on, I find that my brain literally is going from one thing to another. So when I get it out of my brain, and my unconscious mind is actually really, really good at this. I've trained it to kind of go, okay, we're at that emptying stage, we're at that brain dump stage. Let's drop it all out. Let's get it out of there. I feel like when I do empty that, it is emptying. Okay, because my unconscious mind has been trained because I do this so many times that when I write it down or when I pop it in an email and email it to myself or when I add it to my Google Doc sheet, whatever it might be, my unconscious mind has actually learnt that I am going to do something with it. It is still important to me. I've just emptied it. So I'm not having that constant kind of overwhelm. Now, I am someone who runs from to-do lists all the time. I actually have like a whole ideal week planned out of what, if everything's going to plan, where I do certain things. And I've actually got an ideal week planned out where I've kind of got like a week 1, a week 2, a week 3, and a week 4 because I have this rotation. Whereas I might only do one type of activity on a Monday in the first week, if that makes sense. And then at that same time slot, I have a different activity that I do in the second week, third week, fourth week, and so on. So I'm very structured and very planned that way. However, there's so much kind of happening right now that was just kind of elaborating to go, you know what? Some things were out of my control. Some things were out of my control. And I needed to just kind of reevaluate what, empty my head and then what is now priority for me. So the emptying the head part is my first thing. Brain dump it, empty it out, let your unconscious mind know that it is important to you. However, you don't need to be focusing on it and keeping that in there all the time. So then I collate all those lists, pop them in a list all together, and then I categorize it. Now you work out what's going to be best for you, but I color code mine. I know some of you who know me will be like, we know. So I color code mine, and then I'll also move them in my Google Doc sheet so that the most urgent ones need to be moved up, and then what's my focus for this week, what am I focusing on, and what are maybe the tasks that are like they're out and about when I'm running errands. So for me, a Wednesday is my personal appointments day. And that's the days where I might go out and get my hair done, my nails done, brows, a massage, run errands, might go and have a lunch with somebody. That's my day. So if I'm out and about and I've got a list that's ready out and about and my brows are finished earlier and I've got a gap between something, while I'm out and about, I will go and run some of those errands and do them. So I have like little lists like that, but they're all accessible. They're in a Google Doc file so that I can, access them on my phone, access them on my computer. So yeah, so that's what I do. I categorize it. So work out what your categories would be for you. Because then I even have like an ideas list. I wanted to empty it out of my head, but I've just got an ideas list. It's not for now, but it's not never. It could be something that I need to elaborate on, or it could be a training that I need to do, whatever it might be. So we're going to prioritize you to tasks and put them into little categories, and it might be and then you might group your tasks and go, okay, these are my creative tasks that I need to do. I need to put them in some time blocking and do that here. Now, what's my next thing? My next biggest tip, okay? And this is in particular if you are maybe, running a business, okay? You're an entrepreneur of some sort, whether or not you have your own business, whether or not this is even in your career, whatever it might be. I want you to have a look at the tasks that you need to do. And when you're so overwhelmed, like in all honesty, right now, there is no way that I'm going to get everything done on my to-do list. So rather than beat myself up about that, I'm going to look at my to-do list and go, what is actually a priority to me? What do I need to do? What can I delegate? What can I like just forget about for now and come back to it for later? But then I also need to, because sometimes when we break it down into those things, we're like, this is important to us and we need to do it. However, I want you to look a little bit further and go, is this an income producing activity? Okay. Because there are so many tasks when you're running your own business and we get tied up in busy work. We get tied up in maintenance activities that we're doing. And you need to do some activities to keep your business open. However, are you focusing on the income producing activities to ensure you've got that income side of things happening okay? All right. So if you don't know what they are, reach out to me and we can have a little bit of a brainstorm session and I can find out a little bit more about you to what they are. It all depends on basically for me, as just like a quick overview, an income producing activity is if you have a service-based business or a product-based business, it's a way of being able to demonstrate your product. Okay, so to create a booking where you can demonstrate your product is an income producing activity. So the steps that lead up to you actually being able to demonstrate your product in a situation. Okay. And then if you've got like a service-based business, it's like, what are the activities that create that booking for you to be able to do that service with them? So what are all those lead up activities that you do that could be, doing it? Again, that was just a very vague, and I'm probably just tapping into a couple of my other businesses and saying that's what is relevant. So so what I'm doing right now, in all honesty now for the next couple of weeks, is basically I've set myself some focuses and kind of said, this is my intention. This is my focus for the next 2 weeks. And I've got no more than 3 things on there that are like my big focus. And these are like the tasks and these are the things. So basically, if anything else comes up right now that needs to be added to my list, I am going to ask me, is this important? Is this urgent? Like for in the next 2 weeks? And if it's not, it most likely isn't going to get added to my list. And also, I'm going to ask myself, is it one of these focuses? Like, is it one of these intentions that I've set myself for these 2 weeks? And if it's not, I'm giving myself permission to say, I'm sorry, but unfortunately, I can't add that to my workload at this time. Or unfortunately, that's not an idea that I'm going to take on board at the moment because this is my focus. However, I'm happy to revisit that in the new year. Okay. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that because I've done the planning. I've done the behind the scenes activities to work out what my priorities are right now. I've worked out what my focus is, what my intention is, and basically what I want to achieve for this quarter. And if that's not helping me get closer to my goals for this quarter, for my intentions for this quarter, I'm going to have to say no. And I'm okay with that. And we don't even have to apologize. I know I was saying I'm sorry, but I'm just to myself saying, look, you know what? It's not important right now. That's not important. Um, it's a no from me. So that's just a couple of suggestions for you. So if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, my first tip would definitely be you don't have to take 2 days off. Okay. I don't work full days. And I would have done some other activities in there, wouldn't have been. But for 2 days, I did have that focus and that intention of how can I just brain dump everything and have a look at that. So I've got the whole bigger picture. I've got all the ingredients. I've got everything there to decide what it is that my bigger picture needs to focus on, to then be able to get myself some clarity around my direction and what my focus is going to be on. So have a look. If you find yourself that you're sitting in some overwhelm right now and you want to, just take a step back, slow down to speed up. There's some things that I hear on podcasts and I've learnt in the past. Just slow down to be able to, get a better understanding of where you're at. Create a to-do list, prioritize it, break it into categories that are going to work with you. Delegate if you can. Delegate if you can. And then learn to say no. If it doesn't align with your focus, it's okay to say no. Anyway, I hope this is helpful. I trust that it was. Okay. I trust that something inside me said that I needed, more than one person needed to hear this today. And I'll see you next week with something else. All right. Bye, everyone.